When Robert Carlyle asked to direct, we said, sure.
He said, are you still up for directing? Yeah, okay, it's okay, first one then.
You know, he's Robert Carlyle, man. He was cool.
As an actor, your job is to be inside this thing 100%, not thinking about anything outside of it. As a director, antithesis, you really got to be outside this thing looking in.
You know, it's very difficult to do both and to wear the two hats. So you're kind of taking your leads out of the show in order to give them the opportunity to direct, unless they go first.
But they kept talking about it, and we left it sort of up in the air. Then a few calls during the hiatus between 1 and 2, and they said, are you still up for directing? I said, yeah, okay, it's okay, first one then. What?
His role in Pathogen was sort of on his own, just by the nature of what Rush is doing in the first part of the season.
So as an actor-director, you're suddenly caught in these two camps, and I relied quite heavily on Robert Cooper at that time in those scenes, particularly because I said, look, I just don't have the amount of brain cells required for this.
He knew the script so well. That was what was most impressive about it, was just how intimately and passionately he immersed himself in the material, so that when he was on set, you know, there wasn't anything that was going to get by him.
It was a good character drama that we thought he would be able to sink his teeth into in terms of the performances of the actors.
Once the script had came through, I began to understand why they'd asked me to do this one, because as you say, it's a very emotional episode, and that's my bag. I'm used to working with actors. That side of it was the easy part. You know, from the producers, they're kind of going, how'd you get these performances? I'm like, how'd you get these lights?
I mean, obviously he's, you know, worked with some unbelievably talented directors, and he had to have learned something from them, and you know, he's also a brilliant actor, so he understands performance and how to elicit great performances.
My job then, and I think the job of any director, is to create the atmosphere in order to give them that platform to express that. And if you can do that, then you'll get it. It's kind of David Blue and Ming Na's episodes emotionally. So these were the two that we focused on. It was interesting to use some of my old techniques in it as well, or stuff that had been sort of used on me, as it were, by Ken Loach and people like that. What I did was I got in touch with David's parents and asked them if they had any photographs of David when he was a wee boy. So I got 3 or 4 photographs from them, and one of them just couldn't have been any better. There's a photograph of David, 4 years old, with an E.T. doll. In the sequence, he's at the mother's bedside. I said, just have a little look at that book there when you start. He opens it up, and he saw his eyes. It's very close at this point, and I knew when he was coming to the photographs, this little piece of emotion just welled up in him. His whole face started to shake. It's like, perfect cut. I don't need any more. I mean, you can't buy it. You can't act like that. It's just in you.
When you have the body of work that Robert Carlyle has, a significant career with a lot of artists, you're bringing a body of work to the show and an informed opinion of how to do it that you know, we can learn from.
They talk about actors, directors, and I think if anything, that's what he would certainly be, and probably would be, you know, would want to be regarded as.
Watching the clapperboards, watching the seconds disappear, take by take, that was really, really difficult to get my head around, you know, and there is never enough time, and we know that as actors, but it's only when you direct and that you really, really realise that there is not enough time for this.